just a second to get caught up, and then I will be there. Give me just a second. My internet is, well, it's not great. So there we are. Okay, so usually I don't do announcements, but I've got actually one that I forgot last night that I felt terrible about, and then another big one. So I'm just going to let that, I'm going to say those real quick, and then we will get into it. So first and foremost, this is a rapid fire Q&A. Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live. And we do kind of like a community setting. I read all the comments. We hang out. It's usually 2.5, 3 hours long, but we have a good time, and it's a nice community. Tonight, I will only be reading questions. If you have a question, if you can put a bunch of question marks at the end of your question so that it helps me read them, I would greatly appreciate it, but this is more of a rapid fire, fast-paced live Q&A, just so you know what's going on. So I appreciate all of you here. Thank you very much. I just won't be reading all the comments tonight like I do on Sundays. It's just questions. But we announced the 18 under contest winner yesterday, and I really dropped the ball, and I apologize. Jesse Mills reached out to me last month and wanted to donate a Govee to each contestant, and I thought that that was very, very generous. He did it last month, and he's doing it this month, and I just did not write it down and completely forgot. So the 18 under contest winner also is going to receive a Govee to help them hatch out in their incubator, because my philosophy is incubators lie, absolutely. And so he wanted to do that, and I thought that was very, very nice. I should have mentioned it. I have it on my notes going forward, but he messaged me today just asking for the information to send it, and did not ask for me to do this. But I felt awful because that was a very nice, generous offer, and it just slipped my mind just completely. So I do apologize. But the 18 and under contest winner, which was Luke Watkins for the month, all of your stuff is being sent to you. I probably need to put you on my list. I sent it to everybody, but I didn't put you on my list to ship. So there's that. Oh dear God. This is not so rapid fire, is it? Next is QuailCon. QuailCon is set in stone. It is going to be live starting tomorrow. Jenna is fixing my mistakes on the website now. I've already done a video. I will post that tomorrow with most of the information, and we will be selling tickets, ready to go, and getting ready. So I'm very excited about that. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, do so. You will not want to miss the information I will be posting tomorrow. So that is very, very exciting. That is for my to-do list. So those were the announcements. Again, it's only questions. Please put a bunch of question marks or explanation points at the end so I can see it a little bit better. But let us help you on your journey with Coturnix quail. So, let's see. Julie Smith is in the house. Caitlin is in the house. Welcome. Can you make a Facebook group 18 and under so I can make friends my age who love quail? We can talk about colors and make our quail plans. That is a wonderful idea. I think that's a great idea. I don't know if I can get to it this week as I'll be out of town. But I will get to it. You know what? I'll get to it tomorrow. I think that's really important. I think that's a great idea. Great idea. And I will make sure that we do that. I will need a couple admins. We'll make it happen. I'll get it done sometime tomorrow somehow. I don't know how, but I'll work it out. It's a great comment. Great comment. Al Diaz is in the house, waited long enough for the jumbo wild eggs, so I ordered and settled for the jumbo mix. When can I expect to get them? No problem. I understand you are not laying the eggs. You know, I talked to them, and I asked them to lay more eggs, and they are not very good listeners. So I'm going to start breeding for that, but George does not think it will go well. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try, because some of them will listen to me, and I'm just going to start marking them, and then I'm working on it. It depends on when you ordered. There is a note on the website now, and if you order jumbos, it's about 3 weeks out. If you order colors, it's about 7 to 10 days out. But I will get them out as soon as possible, and they will be laid same day as shipped. What is the second largest quail in your inventory? Jumbo whites, and then jumbo Egyptians. Could be the jumbo sexlings. They're really close. I don't remember the exact numbers. Jumbo whites for sure are the second largest, by far. It's a good question. Let's see. Again, I do appreciate all of you here. I'm just not reading those comments tonight, but I'm very happy that you're all here. If a fab fee presents with some brown, does that mean it is heterozygous? Yes. Same as no brown, just black, white, and gray equals home. Yes, that is exactly correct. That's exactly correct. Which a lot of, so here's just my thought on that. I don't like to put, I hate talking genetics. I don't like to put homozygous and homozygous together. Because you're really, you're inbreeding to the infinite when you do that. It's one strand. So that's why mine don't hatch true. Because I like to put het and homo together. It does give you a little bit more of a variety, but that's just the way my breeding program is set up, and I'm fine with that. But that's a great question. We'll actually be discussing that shortly in a video. You did remember this time. Good job. Hi, Zach. What colors will be in the I'm Sorry eggs? 29 out of 30 went into lockdown yesterday. Can't wait. Awesome. Congratulations. I don't know. I do believe that most of them were the new color, the Scarlet Fee, but that I ran out, so I used mixes. I'm gonna say a mix just to be safe. I think there was a lot of I'm Sorry orders that I got out. So most likely it's a mix of colors. It's a good question, but 29 out of 30 going into lockdown this time of year. Love it. Keep me posted on the hatch for sure. Jesse Mills is in the house, which is the donator of the Govee to the 1800 contest. Thank you very much. I'm not supposed to read that. I'm supposed to read only comments. Stay focused, Zach. Well, there's no question. Oh, here we go. Where are your glasses and did you bring extra drinks? I did not, and I'm almost out. And I still didn't even look for my glasses, to be honest with you. I'm doing okay today. I've had 5 Mountain Dews, so I should be doing okay. My heart's gonna explode, but other than that, I'm fine. It's fine. Do you have a video on how to properly hold a quail? I don't think it's an actual video, but I did do it in one of the All About the Colors video. I didn't see S.O. Swanson here. I know that he knows which one that is. I did do it in one of those, and then I also did it in how we ship live quail. How Myshire Farm ships live quail. I showed you in that video as well. Fran, if you want to text me tomorrow, I can find out. It's actually in my notes. I don't even know where my iPad is. It's in my notes on which one, and I know exactly where it is in my notes. So I can let you know which video if you'd like. Watkins Wildlife is in the house, which is Luke, which was the 1800 contest winner. Welcome. I'm not supposed to read that. Gosh darn it. Sorry. Genuine Toe Tag says, was wondering, you're very goal-oriented. What's one big goal you had but never reached? A lot. I fail a lot. Actually, here's a funny story, real quick. I know it's for rapid fire, but here's just a quick version, I promise. I actually was running errands today. I had to get my oil changed, and I had to go to the feed store, and I had to do this. And so I'm running errands, and that's usually, I turn the music off, I turn talk radio off, and I think. And I thought, I'd like to do a video on my failures as far as goals go, because I don't think that I've had that many failures in Coturnix quail. I've had a lot of mishaps, but they've taught me so much more than my successes. So I think that that has helped me. But I've had a lot of failures. And I was thinking about doing a video on that, and then I was thinking no one would care. But I am floating the idea around, just failures in life, failures in growing up, failures on the farm, failures in the business, and just kind of share with you. I'm a little hesitant on it because it's kind of personal, but I kind of thought that maybe it would help some other people knowing that they're not alone. So I'm still throwing that thought around. That is a weird text I just got. It's a good question. There's so many to count. I wouldn't even be able to just mention one. I might do the video. I might. Good evening. I have 15 female and 3 make that are 10 weeks old. They were on 80% layer crumble, and I just switched 22%. I have not gotten a single egg yet. Do you have any suggestions? You just got to be patient. Whenever you switch feed, it usually is about 2. This time of year, it might be 3 weeks before they start laying again. Anytime you want to switch feed, it's always a best practice. You don't have to do it, but it's always a best practice to mix the feeds together for about a week as a smooth transition. But anything you change, lighting, feed, location, cages, anything, they do not like change. They're very much like me in that category. And so they will stop laying for about 2 weeks. This time of year, it might be 3, depending on your setup. But you just got to be patient. They'll start laying again. I mean, if the 22% is the same price as the 18, it would be fine. But usually you pay for the protein, and I recommend 15 to 20% for layers that are 10 weeks old, just because they don't need that extra protein anymore, and you're usually paying more. But there's people like Chris Carnes from Slightly Redneck. He feeds a starter the entire lifespan. And he still gets plenty of eggs and does fine. So, I mean, there's many different ways to run it or to raise quail. That's just a thought. A lot of good questions and comments tonight. What is the square footage requirements if I'm killing at 8 weeks, like for a grow-out cage? That's a good question, and you would think it would be less, but I really don't recommend it. I still recommend after 3 weeks old, they should still be at 3 quail per square foot. We actually just did, here's a failure for you. We just did an experiment, which I was against, and I was right, but I was talked into it. And we left some in the brooder for 5 weeks, which was at 6 quail per square foot. And it did not go well. They got real mean. They got real aggravated with each other. And they got super hot, even with the light off. And so it was a disaster. And I mean, I've made that mistake before, but it was never an experience. So we did that experiment. So after 3 weeks old, whether you're butchering at 8 weeks or not, I still recommend 3 quail per square foot. You honestly, I don't recommend it, but I do know some people that are successful with raising quail, and they do 4 quail per square foot for the butchers, for the grow outs, and they do okay. Hopefully that helps. That at least gives you the mindset. My chicks are getting big, and I have had to raise the heat plate quite a bit. When can I remove the heat? At 3 weeks old, it really depends on where they're at. At 3 weeks, they're fully feathered. If they are inside a garage or a barn or anything like that, that's insulated, I think 3 weeks would be fine. Maybe cover up the top to not let so much airflow in. If it's uninsulated, I would recommend you could try to just keep the some boxes on top and insulate them and leave the light off, but I would keep an eye on them. So it really depends on your situation, but 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks for most of the year. During the cold spells, it's usually 4 weeks best. Um, but that is the problem with the heat plates, is they grow so fast, and then you have to have multiple because not all can fit under there. I would say take the heat plate out, cover up the top to insulate it, and check on them in about 2 hours. If they are still active, then they should be good to go. So that would be my recommendation. I got my first egg yesterday from one of my hens and another egg today. Congratulations, that's a huge accomplishment. My hens will be 6 weeks tomorrow. Okay? Is it common for the hens to lay this early? When is the earliest that they will lay? They'll lay at about 5.5 weeks old. I still am going to say 6 to 8 weeks. We're actually working on that, and I prefer them to start laying at 6. We did breed for that for quite some time, and I've decided against it now. So 5.5 is still fine. So I would say that that's kind of normal now. We've worked really hard on it, but I'm going to try to bump them up to start laying at about 6 weeks old, to help them a little bit. But yeah, you're right on track, and you're doing the right things. So the environment is exactly where you want it to be. Trying to build wire cages, is there a better option than J clips that are really being a pain and throwing away as many as I'm getting clamped tight? It's a good question, and yes, I mean, there's still a J clip, but there is a tool that you can get, and holy mother of all that is holy, I was having the same issues. I'm just not handy. I wish I was. I really do. And I'm a lot better than what I used to. I would tell you a story, but it's super embarrassing and I'm not going to tell you. But it's just not my strength. It just takes me forever to figure it out, and I'm just clumsy, and my hands don't work. I don't know what my problem is. Luckily, I've surrounded myself with people that are good at it. But anyways, I was building one with the clamps, and I wanted to throw it out the window. Like, I was just having issues. And so I went to the store and I was like, look, is there anything else? And they gave me this tool, and the tool was literally like $8. And I took it home and I still wasn't confident, and I literally did it, and it's the easiest thing in the world. So there is a tool, and I think that if you just Google I think if you just Google J-clip tool, it'll show up. It's really inexpensive, but I'm telling you, it'll change your life. It's amazing. But I can't think of what it was right now. That was just in the moment back in the day. Ashley Moore's in the house. What's the recommended tip inside the brooder? Well, there's two ways to do it. Number one, I would recommend watching the video, Why Are My Chicks Dying? On my YouTube channel. So if you actually go to the YouTube search bar and type in "Why Are My Chicks Dying" by Myshire Farm, that video will pop up. It'll give you that, but long story short, you can do it one of two ways. You can watch them, and if they're cuddled up underneath the heat lamp, then they're too cold. If they're cuddled up away from the heat lamp, they're too hot. If they're all active, they're just right. That's what we do. It works best for us. But technically, it's supposed to be 99 degrees the first day you put them in there, and then every day after that, it's a half a degree less. So you start at 99, and then 98.5, and then 98, then 97.5, and so on and so forth. But that's super annoying to me, and so we just watch them, and they'll tell you what you need to do. But those are the two options. Mr. Jim 5280's in the house. Hello, Zach. If I want to harvest 20 birds per month, how can I calculate how many hens I would need to keep? Math is so hard for me right now. I still have this fuzzy brain. All right, let's try to do it. So we're just going to do simple math. We're going to assume a 50% hatch rate still, which is not ideal, hatching your own eggs out. But it's just going to be easy math for me. So you'll change it. But this is the math you want to use. So you want to harvest 20 birds a month. So if you incubate 40 eggs and you hatch out 20, you would get the 20, but you're going to have some deaths, you're going to have some runts, whatever the case may be. So let's just bump that up to 50 eggs a month, which let's take that down to 25 every 2 weeks. 12. So really, if you don't need a lot. I mean, if you do a breeder set, which is 5 hens and 1 male, we're just going to say 4 eggs a day. So 4 times 7 is 28. You incubate those, you hatch those out, you incubate another 28, and you've got more than your 20, and you can be picky. And if some die, then you're okay. So really, 5 hens would give you plenty on that. Unless you want to eat, well, yeah, 5 hens would give you plenty, plus you would have eggs to eat. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully I didn't do all that in my head. Hopefully I'm right. Mark says, I've watched plenty of videos on water nipples, looking into recirculating heated water cause of winter here in New York. Want to avoid freezing nipples if possible. Any better than others? That's a great question, and honestly, I would recommend you checking out the La Rochelle farm. He's got a YouTube channel, and he swears by the nipples. I don't like them. They're not my preference, but he swears by them. He really likes them. I watched him doing a video, and it was really cold, a lot of snow outside. He moved them around. They were not frozen. I would ask him. I don't have experience with the nipples. They freak me out. I don't like them. But he says that they don't leak and they don't freeze, and he really likes them. And there's many different ways to raise quail, which is cool. But I'd reach out to La Rochelle Farm. He's on BYC, which is backyardchickens.com. And sometimes he's on here. I don't know if he's on tonight, but if you see him on here, I'm sure he'd be happy to give you that information. And I am not caught up with all the YouTube videos I'm trying to watch. He might even have a video on his YouTube channel about that. Thoughts on quail in wire cages and chicken run? I know a lot of people do it and they're fine with it. I would be hesitant on it. If you're gonna have chicken and quail together, I would recommend you have the chicken high, and the quail are, I'm sorry, no. I said that all wrong. I apologize. I would have the quail in cages high off the ground and have the chickens on the ground. Did I say that right again? Did I mess that up again? I think I did. Have the quail in cages high. Have the chickens on the ground, and then you don't have to worry about it. That's what I would recommend. But I know people do it, and they're fine with it. I just was told at the beginning never have them together, and that's just what my mindset is. But I know a lot of people keep them in the same barn, in the same area, and they do fine. So there you go. Any good sources on outdoor brooder boxes? I'm in Georgia and looking to grow out about 30 to 50 at a time. That's a good question. Outdoor brooder boxes. I don't know if he has a video on it, but the only person I know that has an outdoor brooder box, and I'm sure there's more, but the only person that I'm aware of right now is Flew the Coop Farms. He's got an outdoor brooder box, and it looked like it was going to work just fine. I've never had them outside. I've had them in uninsulated garages and barns, but I've never had them actually outside. But his worked just fine. I would check that out. He is an admin on Newbie Quail Lovers and Quail for Profit on Facebook. You can reach out to him that way, and he can give you his feedback on what he built. And it looked good. I just don't know his experience with it. But I don't have that experience, unfortunately. There's a way to do it for sure. Freedom Quail Farms in the house on the I am sorry if you labeled SF. Is it still a mix? No, SF is Scarlet Fee. If so, will you introduce the new color to tell them apart? Yes, I want to introduce the 2 new colors that are just sitting there. I just keep putting them in because they're not on the website. I'd love to get to it tomorrow, but guy, I'm running out of time before I leave, so I don't know if I'll do it this week at all. They'll be on the website. I will guarantee that they are going to be on the website by next week. I promise. Love to do it this week, but I don't know. But no, SF is Scarlet Fee. It's the new color. It's really cool. And they're big. I purchased 20 chicks and one had a hernia. What would make this happen? Sadly passed away. Most likely it's a calcium deficiency. It was not getting enough calcium. I obviously would need a lot more information to be able to for sure tell you that, but I would check your feed, make sure it's a layer feed. The experts that I listen to and are much smarter than I am recommend 3.5% calcium, and I believe a 1.5% fiber, but that I could be wrong on. I could be wrong on that. The 3.5% calcium, I know I'm right on, but the 1.5 fiber, I can't remember. But if you go to our YouTube channel, or even if you just type in YouTube and put feed by Myshire Farm, the first video that shows up will be a picture of a Klombach bag that I did, and that information I pretty much just regurgitated from the experts that I interviewed. They didn't want to do it on camera, but I talked to, and I just gave you that information, and that should help you a lot. But that's what I would assume it is. Ow. How many quail do you have per square foot? I recommend 3 quail per square foot. We do 3 quail per square foot. I also recommend 5 hens to every 1 male. I don't do that here because it's more of a business setting and I can't. But we still do 3 quail per square foot. What is the location of QuailCon? It will be in Miamisburg, Ohio at Myshire Farm. A bunch of information will be coming out tomorrow. I'm very excited about it. So as soon as Jenna finishes the pictures, tomorrow I'll post the video and we will make it live on the website. So I'm really excited about that. I'm about 8 days late than what I wanted, but we're getting there. I got a start of... Yeah, this is a question. I got a start of good birds from you last year and now selling enough to pay for the feed. Awesome. That's awesome. Congratulations. Very cool. And have enough to feed my falcons. Very cool. For doing all the hard work and getting good stock for us. Well, thank you very much. That is awesome. Congratulations. That is a huge accomplishment, and you're doing really, really well. Congratulations. So Zach, if you take Homo Phi Roo from 1 pen, Homo Phi Roo, yes, and Homo Phi hen from another pen, wouldn't they breed true? They would. They would. How would that be closely inbreeding? Well, what I'm talking about is you could do that, and that would be fine. That doesn't really fit into what we've been doing. But yes, you could do that, and that would be fine. If you've got that many colors, it would be very difficult to have multiple pens like that unless you've got small groups. I do colonies, so that wouldn't work for me. So we do it a little bit differently. But yes, you could do it that way with the small breeding groups. Yeah, that would work. Absolutely. Rick says, ever shown quail at the local fair? If so, was there showmanship video or book that you show how to show? No, I've never went to a show. I've sold a lot to 4-H. And they've won stuff, but I don't know if it was showmanship or something. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. But no, I've never done that. Are any of your quail blue egg layers? We do have celadons. We don't sell them. I'm not happy with them right now. We're still doing the research. And one day I'll have them. Maybe. Would you explain what a Phi type quail is? A Phi is a gene, and so the easiest way for me to explain it is you have an Italian, which is a golden bird, gold brown. It's gold with brown stripes. If you introduce the Phi gene to that, it changes the color to black and white. Same thing with the wild. Everybody knows what a wild looks like. It's the brown, right? Traditional brown color. If you introduce the Phi to that, it changes it to Fab Phi. And The fab fee is it changes it to more of a gray black color. So it's just it changes it. Hopefully that makes sense. My last two hatches have been mostly hens. Am I doing something wrong, or is this just a fluke? It's a fluke, but take it. That's amazing. Congratulations. Wish I could do that more. No, God, I almost started reading comments again. I can't do that. Are you at all concerned with the AI outbreak, and what are you doing to prevent it in your flock? We're keeping up on it, but we're not letting any farm pickups. We're not letting any tours, and we put some other stuff into place. But yeah, we've pretty much just shut down all local stuff. I mean, we'll take stuff to people, but no one can show up anymore. Yeah, it's pretty far out there now. Let's see, I got an email yesterday. It's Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida. I don't know if I said Florida or not. And shoot, there was one more. There was seven. But yeah, it's getting crazy. And unfortunately, the APA is having a show, I think next week in Georgia, I do believe, and they're gonna let it happen. And they're gonna have a swap meet there, and so I think it's just gonna get a lot worse, unfortunately. But yeah, we just have to shut it down and not let that affect us. Wait, how would you? Oh, I just answered that one. Any tips for deterring red-tailed hawks from terrorizing quail? And will I notice a drop in egg production from a scare 3 days in a row? I did talk to our state's Department of Conservation too. Yeah, that would be the one thing, the first thing I would tell you to do. It's hard to say. If it doesn't get under control, then yeah, you're going to have a lack in egg production because they're not going to feel safe and not lay the eggs. It'll only last a couple of weeks, but I would be interested to see what the person you talked to had to say. Interesting. Is inbreeding a concern? Not really. No. Not really. It's not ideal for long term, but backyard flocks, yeah, not a big deal at all. Not a big deal at all. Question. Okay, so, what would be the minimum per square foot? My cage will be 4x6 with 3 4 square feet boxes. Well, I recommend 3 quail per square foot, and I recommend 5 hens to every 1 male. So if it's 4x6, that would be 24 square feet. So 24 times 3 is, oh dear God, I don't know, 12, 6, 7, 76. I don't know if I did that right. I think it's 76. I don't know. 3 quail per square foot. I found, ooh, got dizzy for a second. I found with chickens, the lower 16% and lower protein feeds, you get chickens that tend to start picking feathers and eating them. This is on chickens, I know, it's just a thought. Yeah, you don't really have that issue with quail. They're obviously a lot smaller. But yes, we've noticed that too, because I did that with our laying chickens before, and I did notice a big difference because we were doing, I think it was 21%. I dropped it down to 14, try to go cheap, and they didn't seem to like it. So we switched. J pliers, thank you very much, Attorney's Corner. That is what they are, J pliers, and yeah, they are life changing. I loved them. Did not want to throw my cage out the window anymore after that. Dr. Connie says my Nurturite 360 humidity is running 55 to 58%. Am I drowning them? Should I suction out some water? You should take out some, no, let it ride. You're all right. It's a little high. I don't recommend it. The Nurturite 360. You could do it however you want. I'll tell you how I would do it. Might not be the right move, but I'll tell you what I would do. I would tilt the incubator a little bit and get that water out a little bit. Um, and I wouldn't trust the. I don't trust incubators. Like you're not. No one's going to convince me to trust incubators. I just won't do it. So if you got a separate thermometer, hygrometer in there, I would trust that instead. So that might be change, or that might change things. But if you can get some water out, if not, then obviously it'll go back down, and just don't add as much. Should I put anything in the water for the first few weeks? So what do you recommend? If you want to, you can add electrolytes. I recommend Save a Chick. It works well. You, you really don't. You can. It's a personal choice. We don't use it until at least when they're 4 weeks old. But yeah, you could use that. And Save a Chick works great. Have you found that they grow faster if you keep them at 14, 16 hours of light? Have you found that they grow faster if you keep them? They mature quicker, yes, if that's what you mean. Yeah. If you use the light, then yes. I built some small walls of cedar fencing and put them in the pens. The quails love to snuggle in them. That's a great idea. They're about 12 inches by 8 inches, like a bottomless box. What do you think of doing this? I think that's a great idea. I think that's super smart. That's a great idea. I love that idea. Very cool. Funny thing, quail sand bath in the egg laying time of the evening. But collected 4 eggs from their sand bath. Yeah, yeah. Happy quail is productive quail. Zach, my daughter emailed you last night. She wouldn't let me add a sentence before she sent it to you. She said, no, it's my email. I did get it. I just responded a little bit ago. So good luck. But I did get it. Is it normal for quail to hop? Mine hops like crazy. They're just happy. Are females unusually skittish? I noticed that the males are much more chilled. No, I think it varies. I think the females are more protective. The males are more curious, but I wouldn't say they're skittish. COVID brain kicking. Yes, COVID brain has been kicking in. Eventually, I'm going to get past it, right? 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 How old before their feet are okay on half by one coated wire? So we just tried that. 3 weeks they do okay. 2 weeks they do not. So 3 weeks. Learn that the hard way. Should I call a female that has a permanent open beak? Don't know if it's an injury or sick. Permanent open beak. I have never seen that before. So I would love for you to send me a picture. Michelle, if you're still on, did that just recently happen, or has it always been that way? Um, Very interesting. I've never seen a permanently open beak in quail. Interesting. Top 2 or 3 recipes for quail. Grill out, love it. Fry everything. But there's a Facebook group you should really join, and it's called Quail in the Kitchen, and it is just about recipes, and it's fantastic. I actually was on there today, and there's a lot of good recipes on there you could check out. Sorry, eggs I received had an M. What does that mean? Mix is what that means. Debbie at She Shed Homesteads in the house. Isaac, at 4 weeks, can I start feeding my quail cucumber and other leafy? Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. They usually get cucumbers from us when we move them to the main barn as a consolation prize. Oh, here's one. Have 6 jumbo whites in one cage, 6 to 7 weeks old. Checked on them last night and all was okay this morning. One of them had almost killed 2 others. A real bloodbath. Interesting. 6 to 7 weeks old. It's a little old for aggression to kick in. Most likely it's a territory issue. It could be many different things, though, is the thing. The first thing I would do is take the one that's picking on the others out. If you can replace it, I would just replace it and have it for dinner, to be honest with you. That would be the best thing to do. But if you really can't afford to do that, then take it out, leave it out for a day or two, and then introduce it back in. If it is a territorial issue, then that fixes it. If it's not a territorial issue, it will happen, and then we would have to go back to the drawing board. But that would be my recommendation on that. I had my first chick death 2 days ago. 6 and 7 weeks old could also be a male issue because they're white, so you don't know if they're right at that age. So if you haven't sexed them yet, you might have too many males in there. Could be another issue. I should have thought of that first. I had my first chick death 2 days ago. It was maybe 4 days old. What are some telling signs that the chicks won't make it? The other 22 are doing great. Sometimes it just happens. Really depends. Again, I would watch that video I did a while ago. It's called Why Are My Chicks Dying? I think that's what it's called. If you do that, Why Are My Chicks Dying by Myshire, that video will pull up. And that gives you, I think, 5 things to look for and to check out. Why don't you put 5 females to 1 male? What part of your business prevents you from doing that? So shipping does affect the fertility a little bit. So we do 4 to 1, and that just works best for us. If you're not shipping, then there's no reason that you would need to do that. But I recommend 5 to 1 because it's going to keep your hens looking much better, and they'll actually lay longer. But we do 4 to 1 to ensure a much better fertility rate. Matthew, are whites normally that mean? No, our whites are pretty docile. The wilds, they're not really mean to each other, but they're crazy. They're psycho. What about if the bird flu is bad this year? Will you still have quail cotton? We will. I got off the phone with NPIP the other day and said, what do you think? And so they personally think that it's going to be gone by then, but I don't know how they can guarantee that. But they're working on it, so hopefully it'll be done by then. And if not, then we have steps to take for people to still be able to come into the quail barn. You might not be able to go all the way into the main barn, but we'll just have to see how it goes. But we will do the best that we can. What about if... Oh, nope, just read that one. Zach, one day you will see the light and realize the horizontal nipples are the cat's meow. I won't. I won't. I'm sorry. I know that you love them, and that's good. And I'm not telling people not to use them. I just don't want to use them. If my quail cage is outside, should the top roof be completely covered? That would be ideal. You could do half covering, or you could do nesting boxes where they could get out, so it wouldn't have to be. But ideally, you would want to cover the top. Yes. In long run, that's what you would want to do. Went into lockdown this morning, had some wiggly eggs right after, but they seem to have stopped. Is that normal? Yeah, that's normal. If you just put them into lockdown this morning, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Don't stress. I did a water system video on my channel, Sow and Tear, but it's not recirculating, just never-ending water from the faucet into the bucket with the float valve, and then goes to the drinking cups. There you go, so you can check that out as well. That's the Sow and Tear YouTube channel. Dr. Connie says, question... I have 3 jumbo white females, 10 weeks old, separated from the others because they got picked on. I also have a 4-week-old male crowing often. At what age can I put him with the 3 females? You can put him in with them now. 10 weeks old. Oh, a 4-week-old. I'd still wait a couple weeks. I'd still wait at least 2 weeks. Might be able to get away with it next week if he's already crowing, but I'd wait until he was 6 weeks old. If we can't vent sex until 6 to 8 weeks old, but we have to keep an eye out for overbreeding or aggression or anything. You can, yeah. The ones that are not feather sexable, you will want to check that. When you see overbreeding, would be the main thing. When you start seeing that, then I would probably separate them and just give them extra space, and that usually fixes the issue. But usually they do. Usually they do okay. I really don't have an issue with that. I'm trying to read the comment or the questions, guys. I'm sorry. Thought on red versus white lights in the brooder. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it's whatever you want to use. I prefer the white. I don't like the red. I prefer the white. I think the red is ridiculously expensive. If they were the same price, I would do the red. But they're not. They're like $4 more for each bulb, and that's just ridiculous to me. So the white bulbs, as far as price goes, but I don't think there's a difference very much anyway. Will you ever try to produce your own electricity with the methane in the poop? If I can get someone to talk to me, that would be fantastic. I was on a roll, and I thought for sure I was going up there, and then it just communication stopped. So they're actually coming out. The people that take it out of the system, they're coming out February 25th. So I put a call in and I said, hey, how would you feel about me riding to Columbus with you guys? And they said, I don't care. So I think I might just take the chance and just drive up there and try to talk to him in person, because I never go towards Columbus. That's way out of my way, and I don't have the time to do it. But I might just ride up there with them, get more information from them, get a better relationship with them. I'd love to one day, but I would need a lot more information. We tried to get something very small started once before, and it was a failure. So we kind of put that on the back burner. But now that we've got this other company, that'd be awesome. I just got to get them to talk to me. I definitely have tilted my Nurtride 360 to get some water out. Boss move. There you go. I did it. It worked out okay. We still had a good hatch. I just added too much in it. Can you put jumbos and standard quail in the same coop? Yep, you can. You can. How do I say that? It's much easier to lose the weight on your jumbos than it is to gain weight in something else. So if you do that, you're going to lose some of your weight in your jumbos for future generations. But you can, and they'll be fine. And eventually, you'll increase the size in some others. Just happened after I moved her. Huh. Isn't cedar toxic to quail? Yes? Oh, yes. Yeah, don't do cedar. Do pine. Thank you so much, James. Oh, dear God. I should have caught that. Yeah, you really shouldn't use cedar. You should use pine. So sorry. Sounds like it's going okay, but I definitely should have thought about that. That was my fault. That was way late too. Thanks, James. Hopefully they saw it. I use soil to let my quail use like a sand bath, like Promix or Coco Core. Is this okay? Yeah, this be fine. Yeah, absolutely. Cheap. I have 2 gloves in the Nurtride 360. I know I can suction some water out with the turkey bait blaster, but tipping it seems okay too. Sometimes I adjust that little air vent to corrupt temp. Yeah, you could use that too. That's fine. You can suction out. I'm not a good suctioner, so I would tilt. But no, I mean, if you're good at that and you can do it, then that would be less stress on the eggs. Um, 30, 130, 60 likes. Yeah, hit the like button, support the channel. I'd appreciate it. Can they eat moldy bread? The only thing I've given moldy bread to is the pigs. And then I felt bad, so I threw the rest out. So I don't know. I don't have experience with that. I really should have thought about that cedar. I am so sorry, guys. That was my fault again. The hawk should leave the quail if they can't get any. No food, not worth the effort for them. Sometimes they're I mean, I agree, it will eventually leave, but they can do some damage, though. The wood I use has been sitting outside for 2 years, so is no longer off-gassing. There you go. I have a... Oh, okay. All right. I've never tried that then. Hopefully that works. Keep me posted and see if that works. I'd love to know. I have a... Where I lost where? Oh, Flew the Coop Farms in the house. I have a carport with no sides. I boxed one side in with tarps, put tube sand on the bottom so the wind couldn't blow them up, and have not had an issue with my brooder. I will try to do a video on it. Yeah, as far as building the brooder, I think people would like to see it. If you could maybe even post it in the Facebook groups, I think people would enjoy that. I think it was a good design. Hi. What is the recommended cage height for jumbo and regular quail? It's a good question. Anywhere between 8 to 12 inches would work fine with the cage height. Really, you want it to be between 8 to 12 inches or 6 foot. There's not really an in-between. Either aviary setting, which is 6 foot, or 8 to 12 inches. I actually looked the other day, and we do a bunch of research in our Wynola Ranch cages, and they are like 7.75 inches high, and they have plenty of room. And I looked back at my records the other day. I have only lost one quail ever in the Wynola Ranch cages, ever. And we've had a lot of quail go through those things. And they're usually like 1-to-1 ratios when we're starting a new color. So I was pretty impressed with that. So yeah, 8 inches would be fine. Oh God, dang. How many weeks? Wait, I lost it. Oh, why do you only put 5 females to 1 male? Why do you only put 5 females to 1 male? Well, you're still, with 5 females to 1 male, you're going to get a very good fertility rate, usually around 90 to 95%. The hens will stay looking good. They're not going to be overbred. The male will be happy to do his job and not irritate them. So that's why. I mean, you could do a 3-to-1 or a 2-to-1 or a 1-to-1, but the hens are going to get beat up real bad. And if you do like a 7 or a 10-to-1, you're going to have a very low fertility rate. So in our opinion, the research that we've done, 5-to-1 is great for hen production, looking good with the hens, and still having a good fertility. It's a good question. Have a good trip to LA. Night, everyone. Welcome to Turnix Corner. Thanks. Question, as far as the influenza, then I should not buy from North Carolina either. Missouri. It was in Missouri, the other state. Because I remember thinking, like, wow, they skipped a couple states there. It's in Missouri. No. No. You could. I would probably contact the places, the states that have it, and I would just ask them, have they been tested lately? And you know, what are their standards? What are their biosecurity? And if it's acceptable answers, then I think it would be fine. Honestly, here's my answer to that. Before this is all over, I think it's going to be in every state. I think that, I just think it's going to be in every state. So you're just going to have to make sure that you trust the breeder or the person you get them from, and just ask them what they're doing differently and what they're doing. you know, we've stopped all farm pickups, we've stopped all tours, and we're not letting anybody in the barn. And now it's really annoying, but I've got overalls, multiple pairs of overalls, and so we actually change, and we change our boots when we go into the barn. So when we go in, it's a completely different outfit now, which technically we were supposed to do before, but we never did. So we kind of put that into place. So that's another thing that we're doing here as well. Richard Brown says, Jumbo White or Jumbo Wild, what should I get? I'm always going to recommend the Jumbo Wild. They're always going to be the biggest. They're feather sexable. They're good layers. I'm always going to recommend the Jumbo Wilds. But the Jumbo Whites are good too. With stackable tier cages, does the lower ones lack lighting? That is a good question. Kevin from Living Traditions Homestead just did a video, and I thought he did a great idea. And his video was, you got to be problem solving. Something about that. I think he just posted it last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was a great video, and he took these lights. Oh dear God. These lights, and he took them off the stand and he rewired them and put them at the top of the cages. And I thought that was genius. So once he did that, I actually did my numbers, and I'm getting the same amount of production from my top tier to my lower tier. So I'm not going to do it, but I think that's a pretty good idea. I think it also depends on your overall lighting. I think it depends where it's at. I think it depends on how high it is and things like that. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's a fantastic problem-solving idea. And it's working for him. So I think you could go either way on that. It's a good question. Excuse me. Dear Lord. Donna says, question. Again, I am sorry things keep coming up. I have cedar around my raised bed. My cage will be 4 feet up off the ground. Will that be okay? Cedar around my raised bed. My cage will be about 4 feet up. Yep, that'll be fine. Not a problem at all. Don't stress. If I wanted to try an aviary setup, how tall is the recommended minimum or maximum height? 6 feet or higher for aviary setting. If you're on Facebook, you can join Newbie Quail Lovers or the Self-Sufficient Quail Facebook group. And Katrina is an admin on Newbie Quail Lovers. Jasmine is an admin on the Self-Sufficient Quail Facebook group, and both of them do aviary settings as well as cage settings, and they would be a great resource to do that. And I would assume Katrina has a YouTube channel. I know she does, Sow and Tear. I would assume she'll probably be doing a video on that, because that question's coming up quite a bit. If she hasn't already. Again, I've not caught up on all the videos I need to watch. Jess Sabin says, I am having a bit of trouble with the temp in the Nurturite 360. I get 98.6 to 99.7 at 100, or 99.6 to 100.7 at 100.5, which would be better. Well, it's a circulation issue. So the first thing that I would recommend, there's 2 things I would do. Put a towel around it and try to insulate it a little bit more, and hopefully that will stop the adjustment. And then, you know, like you said, it's between 98.6 and 99.7. Well, if you insulate around it, you know, and put a towel or a blanket around there, hopefully it'll, let's just say, even out at 99.2, then leave it alone. Or whatever the case may be, or you can adjust it to there, you know, adjust it a half degree and it's 99.7, and that's fine too. So that would be one thing you want to try. The second, if you have to pick between the two, the 100.7 scares me a little bit. I think you're going to get the same results either one. If you do the 99.6 to the 100.7, they're going to hatch early, but you should still be okay as long as it doesn't go over 100.1. are 101. If you do the 98.6 to 99.7, they're going to hatch late. So in that thought process, I would change it. I would change your Nurturite 360 to the 100.5 if it doesn't work to insulate it with a towel or a blanket. I would do the 99.6 to the 100.7 and have them hatch early rather than late. Just testing, not eggs in yet. Oh, okay, good, good, wonderful. That makes me feel much better. Yeah, try to insulate it and see if that helps, and keep me posted. I'd like to know what your experience is. Uh, let's see. What time are you putting up live quail breeder set on the website after Tuesday? Just want to make sure I make it in time. I'll be putting them up tomorrow, and it really depends on how fast I can go. We're let's see. I've got the 2000 balut candle, and I've got to get a couple orders out, and I got to get a ship list ready for Wednesday. Those have to be done. So I'll do those first. So if I start at 6 to, we'll say 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll make sure they're on the website by, I'll put them on at 1 p.m. That'll give me plenty of time. The French gardener says, any snake problem with raising quail? I mean, snakes could be a problem for raising anything. So, you know, off the ground and try to prevent it the best you can. Try to use, you know, 1/2 by 1/2 wire or even 1/4 inch wire around it. That'll help a lot. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely snake issues raising any kind of animal. If you do a group breeding cage, do you do 3 males to 15 females for the correct footage, or what's the best ratio? What? Group breeding. Yeah, 3 to 15. That would work just fine. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got froze. I apologize. Are we back? I'm not back yet. I am back. I will answer that again. So what time are you putting up live quail? If you did not see that, because I wasn't even looking at the screen, I apologize. I will put them on the website 1 p.m. tomorrow. That'll give me enough time. If you do group breeding cage, do you do 3 males to 15 females for the correct footage, or what's the best ratio? Yes, that is correct. That's what you'd want to do, is 15 females to 3 males. We do colony breeding, which is group breeding. And yeah, we've got multiple males and multiple hens in there. Absolutely. Dana King says, what age can I tell which to keep, which to call? Group is 6 weeks old. Want to keep the larger hens and males for future breeding. Are they through growing? They are not through growing. They'll grow for another 4 weeks. What I would do, you don't have to. That would be the long way around. There's a couple different practices you can do. One, you can weigh them now, weigh them next week, weigh them at the 8th week, see which ones are growing at a steady rate, and call the rest. When we butcher for like human consumption, we butcher at 8 weeks old. So that would work. Or you butcher at 8 weeks and you keep the biggest of the biggest and you butcher the rest. You could do that now at 6 weeks, but I would wait till 8. Oops, oh dear. Why? What am I doing? Sorry. Rich Brown says, if I cross wild with white, what will they make? Eventually, they'll make tuxedo. Eventually, you'll get a pharaoh tuxedo. I'm not too far behind. Pam says, do you reuse your empty bags or throw them away? The plastic ones can be cut into half-inch straps and used to crochet. It was a 4-H project years ago. Very cool. You know, someone asked me to save them all and ship them to them, and I don't remember who that was, and I don't even remember where I put that note. So hopefully they reach back out to me. We use some we burn, and some people pick up, which they're not going to be picking up anymore. So hopefully that person contacts me and we'll ship them to them, and they do a bunch of arts and crafts with it. We use a lot of them for gardening and things like that, moving a lot of stuff. It's a good question. I have grow lights for plants. Can I use them for lighting the cages for 14 hours? Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people that do it and they do fine with it. Christmas lights work well. We use LED lights. So it really just depends on whatever you got and whatever you want to use. Terry says, thank you for all that you do and answer questions. You two admins, be safe on your trip. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thanks for showing up. Hit the like button, support the channel. We only need 9 more to hit 100, which would be kind of cool. I have a video called Maine Quail Aviary Tour on my YouTube channel, Sow and Tear. There you go. Thank you very much. Ryan says, looking for something for my kids, 8, where'd you go? 8 and under to work on, quail or bantam chicken. What's all of your experiences with kids? Quail, for sure. They are such a fast turnaround time. You don't have to have them free range. You can put them in the cages. I mean, you can put bantams in cages as well, but yeah, quail for sure. The fast turnaround time, you know, the 18 days hatching, and at day old to laying eggs is like 5.5 to 6 weeks old. You know, to harvest them is 8 weeks, depending on what you want to do. The fast turnaround time really seems to keep the kids more interested and involved, is my opinion. Hello from Puerto Rico. Any update on the new incubator you were building? So yeah, I actually talked to George about it today. We got a game plan. He's going to finish half the brooder room, and then next week we're going to both work together and get the other half the brooder room done. The week after that, I'm actually going to take a break off of YouTube and Facebook and texts and everything, and we're going to bust out the whole other cages to be done, and then we start on the incubator. But I've got to get this other stuff done first. Have to. I mean, it's just, I got to prioritize it. Courtney Kruger says, what is the problem with cedar and quail? Cedar is usually toxic to most animals. To most animals. Pine is the way you would want to go. We can still hear you though. Oh, well, that's kind of creepy. I didn't know that. Glad I didn't say anything weird. I might have. I don't know. I don't. Oh, here's one. Okay. By the way, if you just joined us or joined us a little bit ago, Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I read every comment. I take our time and we have a good time. We hang out together. On Mondays, I'm only reading questions, and it's supposed to be a rapid fire, even though it's been over an hour. So I apologize, but yeah. Just so you know. But I appreciate everybody that's here. I love that you're all here. If I have chicks hatched 2 weeks apart, can they go into the same brooder box, or will I need 2 breeder boxes? Brooder boxes. That's a good question. That one's a little bit tricky. I don't recommend it. I've done it before, and it can work, but I don't recommend it. 1 week apart, you'll do just fine. More than that, and it's not ideal. 2 weeks, you're really in that iffy range, so you could do it and just keep an eye on them. But I really only recommend at the most 1 week. But we've done it before and it didn't work out, but it might work out better for you. It's a good question. When I get my quail eggs and they hatch, can they be put in on a chick stat? Yes. Starter. Yes. That is 25% protein. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What will my sex-linked quail produce when breeding? Sex-linked quail will produce Egyptians and wilds. If you've got Egyptian males, yes. If you have Egyptian males and you have pharaoh hens, wild hens, they'll produce sex links every time. Those sex links will hatch out wild males and Egyptian hens every time. Every time. Um, I locked down my 360 2.5 days ago. Since then, my temperature light keeps blinking at 99.5. I have another temperature gauge, but it is junk. If it keeps blinking, then we're having a temp issue. So increase your temperature. If you put them in 2.5 days ago. Cal Skyler, have any of them hatched yet? I would need to know that before I tell you. And thank you very much for the $5 donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That will go straight back into the channel to help do better videos for you guys. Will this reach? No, it will not. Crap. Do you also put your lights on timers? Yes, we do. Absolutely. We didn't for years, and man, I wish I would have done it a long time ago. How my 360 allows always blinks. I'd put the temp to 100 and set it. There you go. Ever have that problem called nurturite? They didn't know. Ship us our eggs before you go out of town. We'll see. I don't know. First come, first serve. I found room temperature affects incubators too. Yes, very much. Actually, we'll be doing a video. Oh, crap. I can't post 2 videos in one day. Shoot. Well, I'll finish up my incubator video and we'll post that later on this week. But I think everybody's going to really want to watch that. Thank you for doing this, Myshire. Well, thank you very much for showing up, and thanks for asking questions. That's what I'm here for. Thumbs up, people. Thank you very much. Cal Skyler, $5 donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Can you give us an idea on selling local prices on chicks, eggs, and fertile eggs? Yes, I actually did a playlist. I'll be doing some more shortly, but I did do a playlist called Quail for Profit. It is on my main page on the YouTube channel. You can check that out, and that should give you a lot of different ideas to think about. I don't like to tell people how much to sell them for. I think everywhere's different. I think cost of raising is different. Feed prices are different. Time people want to be paid differently. I mean, it's just there's a lot of different things. But I did give you a lot of things to help you on your journey with Quail for Profit. So you can check that out. What type of sand should I use? Play sand works just fine. That's what we've used in the past. Temp will adjust. Temp does adjust on the Nurturite 360. I do know that. It does. What will tuxedo quail and the pearl quail make? A lot of stuff. I mean, you'll get tuxedo, you'll get white, you'll get pearl. It depends on what tuxedo it is. If you put it with a Tibetan or Rosetta, tuxedo with a pearl will eventually give you Gralfie. If it's a scarlet tuxedo, then it would start making some weird colors. It's hard to say. A lot of stuff. Your house may have either high or low humidity. Yeah, depending on where you're at. Absolutely. You got to take that into account as well. So thank you for taking time out of your day to help us noobs. We appreciate your time and dedicated to raising quail. Well, thank you very much for showing up and being here. And I'm glad that we could answer some questions. Do I have to have sand for my quail when they hatch? No, I don't recommend doing a dust bath or don't use it for at least 3 weeks is what I'm trying to say. Wasn't coming out, but that's what I'm trying to say. Thanks for your wisdom. Well, thank you very much. Feel better, safe travels, good night. Thank you very much. Happy Hoppers Homestead says, okay, so got my eggs today. They were in the mail for 9 days, incubators running and ready. They were so cold when I got them, but they have been out on the counter all day. Is it going to affect my hatch? Maybe a little, but it shouldn't a lot. I just had confirmation on, I mentioned one yesterday. There was another one today, and another one that I should hear from. The post office is really screwing me up, but The 2 that's been confirmed were in the mail for 14 days. Both of them have had over a 75% hatch rate. So do the best you can. Keep us posted. I don't know if they're our eggs or not, but if they're my eggs, keep us posted. We'll make sure you're taken care of. But no, you should still be able to get a good hatch rate. How long can I hold eggs before I put in? I recommend 7 days before you put them in. And if you're getting shipped eggs, I recommend 24 hours. And guys, it doesn't matter if shipping was 3 days or 12 days or 14 days or 9 days. You really got to let them settle. That is really, really important. I'm going to do a video on that because I think people think that they just got to put them in real quick. Time doesn't affect them as much as letting them sit. So yeah, make sure you let them sit for at least 24 hours before you put them in, if they're shipped eggs. Good night. Thank you for the answers. Thanks for showing up and asking. I think you meant AI. How do you treat I don't know what that is. I'm assuming you meant avian influenza. I don't know if that's what you meant, though. Okay, thank you for helping, Zach. Also, I will get tracking number when you ship the 25 tucks and the 25 rare. Yes, you will. What a great and safe trip. Blessings. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And that looks like all of the comments. Yes, it does. All right, guys, thank you very much. Hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Support the channel. Tomorrow, I've got an all-day or a great video coming out about QuailCon. I mean, I don't know if it's a great video, but it's going to give you all the information about QuailCon. QuailCon tickets will be available tomorrow on the website to purchase. I'm really excited about that. We are introducing new things. We are going bigger and better than ever than last year, and I'm really excited about it. I really am. And George is actually very excited about it as well, which I thought was weird because he did not want to have it last year, but now he's all for it, so I'm really excited about it. Thank you to my moderators. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it. If it is not an emergency, if you can maybe not text me the next couple of days. Number 1, I'll be out of town. Number 2, the next couple of days, I'm going to be slammed. I've got balloons, I've got candling, I've got inventory, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. And if you need me, text me. That's fine. My information's on the website. But if you could use either the comments on YouTube or Facebook or contacting one of the people I recommend, that would really help me stay caught up. I'd appreciate it. But if you need me, let me know. I will not be here Sunday because it is Super Bowl Sunday and I want to watch the Super Bowl. So we'll be back a week from today, but I do have at least 2 good videos coming out for you this week, the Hoverbaiter video and the QuailCon video, and hopefully I get the other one done. So we'll see how that goes. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the donation. We'll put that right back in the channel. And my phone is about to die, so I will go charge it. So guys, thank you very much. Stay safe and check out the video tomorrow. See you guys.